In or around 1955, I was swimming in the Tahitian Lanai restaurant's pool when Duke Kahanamoku approached my parents and suggested I should join an organized swim team. He felt my stroke had competitive potential. I am a surfer today. I was not always a surfer. I'd like to take you back to the late 1950s when surfing first came into my life. I was raised on Punahou school campus where my father worked as a young teacher out of college. As an island boy, we often stayed at a cottage owned by the school right on the beach several times a year in Kailua. The film Gidget was released in 1959 when a young Kathy Koner fell in love with the surf lifestyle at Malibu Beach in California. Although this was one of the earliest influences on surfing in the USA, Hawaii had its own surfing pioneers. Prior to Gidget, a number of California young lifeguards and college graduates were falling in love with surfing and the surfing lifestyle. Young men like Buzzy Trent, Fred Van Dyke, Peter Cole, Corky Cole, Greg Knoll, and Ricky Grigg migrated to Oahu in search of warmer water and the excellent surf on the island. Fred Van Dyke, Peter Cole, and Ricky Grigg all became teachers at Punahou School. They became friends with some of the local surfers like George Downing, Timo Hollinger, and Leith Anderson. We young boys were mesmerized by these athletes who became the heroes of big wave surfing on Oahu. My father took me to the Velzy Surf Shop on Ilani Y Street, where he bought my first foam and fiberglass surfboard. It was an 8-foot pop-out board with a disgusting green pigment, a single redwood stringer, a large bulky wooden skeg, and absolutely no rocker at all. The board was absolutely flat. Punahou became a cauldron of early surfing talent. Which included students like Makaha Juniors champions Vicky Heldrich and Tim Gard, and with Makaha winners Fred Hemmings, Peter Cole, Paul Strow, and Laura Bleers. Fred Hemmings, who founded the Triple Crown of Surfing, he and Randy Rarick also started the first international professional surfing circuit. Fred stood next to me as a high school scholarship worker where we served rice and gravy in the Punahou lunch line. Jimmy Bleers, the 1972 world surfing champion, and I swam on a number of swimming relays in high school. Classmate Jeff Hackman never swam competitively, but he did win the first Duke Kahanamoku Surfing Championship and the first Pipeline Masters Championship in 1971. Jerry Lopez, another Punahou graduate, won the second and third Pipeline Masters contests because Jeff Hackman phoned Jerry the first year and told him the contest was called off that day. Jerry is still one of the many mythical Mr. Pipes, even though John Peck, Butch Van Artsdalen, Jock Sutherland, Kelly Slater, and Jamie O'Brien have tamed the break many times over. Even Volcom team manager and coach Dave Riddle spent 6 weeks attending Punahou before deciding it wasn't for him. I surfed religiously from the ages of 10 to 11, perhaps almost every day. And this was back in the day when a shortboard was 8 feet long and weighed 25 pounds. I surfed almost exclusively at Waikiki Beach with an occasional adventure to Publix or the Ala Moana Bowl. This would have been just following Hawaii statehood from 1959 to 1961. I was in 5th and 6th grade at Punahou, that lower Manoa private school that we couldn't mention back then. I am not sure whether I was bitten by the Gidget syndrome or whether my early surfing gods like George and Rabbit and the Duke caused the Gidget syndrome. As a Punahou kid, surfing certainly pervaded the school with icons like Ricky Grigg, Fred Van Dyke, and Peter Cole working at the school. Classmates Jimmy Bleers, Fred Hemmings, and Jeff Hackman were just a normal part of the scene. My personal surf mates were fellow faculty children. Most of our ocean friends were also members of the Outward Canoe Club right in the center of Waikiki. We used the club as a home base on the weekends. I do remember that the first surfboards I had seen were made of balsa wood. I remember piling into Mom's 1959 Rambler station wagon every day after school and early mornings on the weekends when we would be delivered to Waikiki and abandoned on the sidewalks of Kalakaua Avenue in front of the Downing concession like 4 or 5 more pieces of driftwood. The worst part of this early addiction was in not realizing the vicious nature of the sun around the equator. By Monday morning, I would have the world's worst migraine headache after 8 to 10 hours with very little food, certainly not enough hydration, and no sunscreen. Combine this with the pecking order that any smallish howly boy might be subjected to in the surfing lineup, I wonder how I lasted those early few years. I was so small I could only carry my surfboard on my head. We were in the vanguard of those early surfing movie audiences where the filmmaker brought his film to local venues like Punahou's McNeil Auditorium, Roosevelt's High School Auditorium, or McKinley School. Hundreds of kids attended these film surfing adventures. Whether it was Bud Brown or Bruce Brown, these one-man promoters ran the projectors and narrated the films live. The films were combinations of the latest radical longboard surfing, interspersed with the comic episodes of surfers having fun. And some of our school teachers like Fred Van Dyke, Peter Cole, and Ricky Grigg, or school attendees like Paul Strow and Fred Hemmings, surfed across the screens in front of us. Fred Van Dyke seemed to be one of the early promoters of these films, and he would enlist us Groms to make sure every small store and every telephone pole had a promotional flyer. And just as quickly as I had been committed to this all-consuming surfing passion, my interests changed. The sport of surfing was gradually changing to much shorter surfboards, and for the next 45 years, the idea of surfing must have only been a dormant seed pod waiting for the right amount of water, wind, and sunlight to regerminate itself back into my life. I spent several years as a racquetball fanatic, a few more as a kite builder and kite flyer, and even more years raising a wonderful young daughter who loved to dance, model, and act in musical theater. Fast forward to the year 2005, my daughter was attending Chapman University in California, but had a chance meeting with a 6'9" University of Hawaii basketball player while home on Christmas vacation. He wanted to try surfing. I had surfed. I also had swum competitively in high school. I played water polo against Keone and Kainoa Downing. I lifeguarded for 10 years for the city and county of Honolulu, predominantly at Makapu, on Oahu's east coast, the same 10 years that Eddie Aikau was lifeguarding at Waimea Bay. I even lifeguarded a few weeks with the famous Buffalo Kealana at Makaha Beach. I surely would be able to push a beginning surfer into a few waves. I bought 3 surfboards to start the lessons, a 12-foot Takayama Blue Hawaii tandem surfboard, a 10-foot and a 9-foot Planet Surf surfboards. Although he began to learn quickly, he didn't have the time to spend developing any real talent. However, he did leave me with a rekindled spirit to get back into the water after 30 years and after leaving board surfing for close to 45 years. So for the last 15 years, I have been out in the waves at least 4 days a week, and many more when the surf is good. I began reading Matt Warshaw's Surfing Encyclopedia and immediately noticed that many of my Punahou buddies were now part of the history of surfing, and I was a nobody. An additional group of Punahou surfing alums surfaced. James Jones won the Duke contest and the first photograph of a tube ride at Waimea. Brock and Clark Little attended Punahou through the 11th grade. Dale Hope, the Aloha Shirt historian, was in the canoe and broke his arm on the famous 25-foot avalanche wave on the North Shore. Mark Cunningham, a young lad that I helped mentor briefly on some water polo techniques, was now one of the world's two most famous body surfers. Don King had become one of the world's premier surf photographers. Alec Ace Cool Cook, a big wave outer reefs pioneer surfer, was lost at sea on a big day. Dave Wassel had become a famous North Shore lifeguard and surf commentator. Cole Christensen made his mark in the giant waves. Kahi Picaro founded the Sustainable Coastlines nonprofit group. And Robbie Nash conquered the world in every aspect of windsurfing. I felt totally left out, and rightfully so. But I felt it wasn't too late to find myself a small niche in the Hawaii surfing community. My daughter had become a video editor in high school, and she taught me the basic elements of editing. I decided to buy a video camera and concentrate my filming on the historic elements of aging surfers before we lost them forever. I began attending the Honolulu Surf Film Festival, documenting the attendees and the post-screening discussions by all of the luminaries of surfing. I filmed Dick Brewer and Bob McTavish arguing over who invented the first shortboard, when it was really done in the 1960s by Joe Quigg, who cut down the ridiculously long surfboards so that the young girls could paddle and control their surfboards at Makaha. I filmed Peter Cole and Ricky Grigg arguing over who should determine how tall a wave really is.
And then there's this other idiotic scheme of measuring waves from the back, which is totally absurd because you can't even see the back.
You look at the surf reports in the morning and they say it's going to be 10 to 12. Divide by 2. And it'll be very accurate.
I filmed Clyde Aikau describing his famous waves at the 2016 Eddie Big Wave event won by John Florence.
My plan was, no matter what happens, the first wave come in, the first big wave come in, I'm going. Uncle Clyde is going. You know, so me and John is out there, me and him is just jockeying, you know. So we look outside and this wave is coming and I just swing around, boom, I'm gone. I drop down 10 feet, my whole fin comes out of the water. The most worst thing that ever could happen on big wave riding.
I accidentally filmed a blonde mop-top taming pipeline. I filmed Sion Molosky without knowing that Mavericks would claim him. I filmed Rabbit Kekai's beach service. I began to document all of the surfing tattoos that I would see. I have been a collector all my life and set myself the task of collecting vintage surfing trophies and surfing-related belt buckles. I was inspired to collect surfing trophies by the Surf Rider hood ornament that was on Duke Kahanamoku's Lincoln Continental. It had been sculpted and cast by John Kelly Sr.'s wife, Catherine, a renowned artist and sculptor in her own right. Catherine made a series of these Surf Rider sculptures. The Kellys were good friends of the Kahanamoku family, and to make a little extra money, she sold them in the Kahanamoku store in Waikiki. I collected a few Duke trophies. The Duke Kahanamoku Invitational trophies were a copy of the Oscars with the surfboard behind the Oscar man. Here are two trophies won by Reno Abalera. This trophy is the original version of the Vans World Cup of Surfing at Sunset, when it was sponsored by sunscreen company Hawaiian Tropic. I even went so far as to put my own California raisin hood ornament on my car in honor of the Duke's hood ornament. I debated about putting one of Catherine Kelly's vintage sculptures on my car, but knew it wouldn't last. But I wanted to make one more lasting impression. I wanted to encourage all surfers of all ages to appreciate the history of surfing while I had them on camera. In 2017, I would design and mint a special commemorative coin. If I asked you a surfing question on camera and you answered it correctly, you would win one of my silver dollar size surfing commemorative coins. Once upon a time, there was a local haole girl who met a boy from London at Publix in Waikiki. Her name was Caitlin, and his name was Tom. She fell in love, they got married, but his dream was always to attend the Pipeline Masters surf contest on the North Shore. At that first contest, he took some fabulous pictures of surfers and waves at Pipeline. I took Tom's photographs and combined them with my love of surfing to create a commemorative coin for our local surfers on the WSL CT Tour. Only by serendipity was John Florence the very first one to receive one of these commemorative coins. By asking fun and relatively simple surfing trivia questions, I would distribute these coins to local surfers.
That just means I'm old. Oh no way, I win a prize for real?
Prize!
Thank you!
Hold it up for the camera.
Sick! This is a collector's item right here. So surf trivia, reading a bunch of surfer magazines your whole life, finally paid off for me. Thank you very much.
Who got the first one? The first medallion?
The first medallion?
Randy Rare.
Oh, the first one of these medallions?
Yeah.
Now that I'm gonna have to guess, but I would hope it would have been John Florence. Ah! 2 for 2.
John got the first one.
You only can win once. Yeah. Let's bring some trivia. What era is it though?
For you, it's from 1950 on. Jesus.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, there's two surfers in the world that have the same nickname. Who are they?
2 surfers in the world that have the same nickname?
Yeah. One's from Hawaii and one's from Australia. Check the loop.
One's from Hawaii. One's from Australia.
One credited in Hawaii with having the first barrel ride. Waikiki.
First barrel ride in Waikiki.
Bugs Bunny.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's my uncle. I got my first surfboard from him. Rabbit Bartholomew, Rabbit Kekai, both named Rabbit, but for way different reasons. There's another story behind the Rabbit Kekai story, and that is like an offline thing. But Beach Boys were very entertaining men throughout that period in history where they were the stars of Waikiki. And then, of course, Bugs on the Gold Coast did his thing.
Bonus question. Who's my wife's favorite surfing commentator on television?
Strider Wazalewski.
Sorry, it's Kaipo Guerrero.
Thank you.
Hold it up, tell us who you are.
All right, I'm Kaipo Guerrero, and let me see what I got here. I have a coin right here that's been minted, and what it has is all of Hawaii's represented surfers on the championship tour. So I have Malia Manuel, Carissa Moore, Coco Ho on the women's side, and on the men's side, I have John Florence, Sebastian Zietz, Ezekiel Lau, and Keanu Singh. This is a collector's piece. Thank you very much. Mahalo.
This is how they came up with the name Gidget.
As we speak,
because
over at
she was a girl and she was little, so she was a girl midget, so they called her Gidget.
The girl Gidget.
Who started the IPS?
Randy Rarick and Fred Hemmings. Oh, I like it. Thanks, man. I got 1 or 2 right.
Maybe one.
Randy Rarick, Jerry Lopez.
Here's your
Who
prize.
Good. How are you? Wow, what is it? Oh, wow.
Hold it up, tell us who you are.
Dennis Ping. Dennis Ping.
We didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Say aloha.
Aloha.
Okay, we're here with Ola Iliogram. Ola, can you tell me what Kelly Slater's middle name is?
Robert? No? Yeah.
You're close. You want to try that one again? That's his first name.
Kelly?
Yay, you're a winner! Okay, hold it up so the camera can see you. Okay.
Very first endless summer.
Moose spout. I mean, yeah. Moose spout.
Okay.
How quick was that? That's it. That's all you got. No,
Hold up the coin. Hold up the coin. Hold up the coin.
Okay.
Hold up the coin.
This is the real deal.
This is the real deal.
Well, I'm still gonna get that answer, and I'm not gonna go
You can bring back the answer.
Google it. I'm not gonna go do all that
Okay?
because I'm really good at that. But I'm gonna stay off my phone and find out. I won't Google it.
And then what's Belzy's first name?
Bill?
Yeah! Winner!
Oh, this is actually good. I'll keep it.
Okay, keep it.
Thanks.
What's Kelly Slater's middle name?
Big old pile. Is it Kelly?
Winner.
Yeah. Robert Kelly Slater. Yeah.
There's your prize.
What do I got?
Brother, it's on. They called it.
Oh, thanks. Was this a coin? Maybe you thought I was sea bass, maybe?
Tell me who you're most commonly confused with on the CT tour.
Josh Kerr. Easily. Do
you like that?
Men's Triple Crown. Here we go. Lucas Silvea, the 2014 rookie
Okay, have you seen
of the
it?
Triple Crown. Riding on his second wave, opened up with a 2.0. They're in the lead right now with a 3.67 opening ride. Registering here for the scores. So, the former World Cup champion in Italy, Michelle Perez.
Don't embarrass me.
Rides we've seen this morning, so showing that they are out there and
Tell
it
me
is
the two
possible.
original surfers who were in Endless Summer that really filmed.
I'm not,
Oh, Robert
I believe that he pulled in the barrel and was able to come out here.
I'm in
No, you already got one. So here's your prize.
I didn't
Well, we got three programs. That's right, three programs of the Advanced Triple Crown Surfing, courtesy of Mike Pastrana and Free Surf Magazine.
I think she got her name because she was like small in stature, like a widget, but she was a girl. So instead of calling her widget, they added the G and called her Skidget.
Pretty good. That was close. But they actually said she was a girl midget.
See, I wasn't gonna go there. I was gonna say widget.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
We'll give that to you.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
He's
All right.
giving it to you.
I squeaked that one out. Yes.
What? Look at that.
Awesome. Got the Hawaii's on coin right here. Collector's item. 2017.
I got one of those. I got one out of.
I'll ask you another question.
You go and ask.
It's the Hawaiian word for surfing.
Easy.
Winner.
Yeah, ask
You should
something
have
about
asked me
my
that. You
culture.
should have asked me that question.
Mahalos, brother. Aloha.
What's Kelly Slater's middle name?
Kelly.
Okay, what was Kelly's name when he was in Baywatch?
Jimmy Slade.
Winner! We got a winner!
Scared of cameras. That's why I don't want him scared of cameras. So, that being said,
Name four Hawaii girl surfers that were on Vancouver last year.
Leah Manuel, Coco Ho, Carissa Moore, and I was representing Hawaii as well. Thanks. Oh, cool. Thank you. Aloha. Thanks, guys.
where's Punahou School?
You gotta ask him something that.
No, I know where it is. I wouldn't have a clue celebrities.
You gotta ask him that one.
What's the relationship between Sean and Michael?
Cousins.
Tell us who you are. Hold it up.
Al Hunt, the WSL tour manager.
Okay, aloha.
Aloha.
It is a individual, looks like visiting from North Dakota.
Okay, great.
I want to know what year Eddie had trouble in South Africa. What the event was.
That would have been 72, and I would have said Durban 500, but it wasn't that. It was actually like a world's event, so I don't remember the name of it, do you? No, because the Durban 500 became the Gunston 500, but I don't believe that was the event that they were actually there for. Yeah, 72. Awesome!
Tell us who you are.
Jody Wilmot, World Surf League GM.
So who was the top WSL Women's Surfer of the Year last year, and who was the top surfer pole winner?
I know Carissa was one. Tyler Ray.
There we go. Now we got a winner.
Oh, winner! Oh, look at this!
Thank you.
Hold it up. Tell us who you are.
My name is Betty Lou Sakuda Johnson, and I'm 12 years old, turning 13 in a couple days. Aloha.
Okay.
Name me all the Brazilian World Surf Champions.
Gabriel Medina and Adriano de Souza.
Okay, here's your prize.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I won!
What's your name?
Guilherme Tamega.
Okay.
Yep.
Punahou. Oh, sick.
Hey, surf coin.
I just answered a trivia surf question here at the Honolulu Museum of Arts. Daniel Rousseau.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's easy. We got Fred Hemmings, Dave Wassel.
Secret.
Yeah, we got Fred Van Dyke. We got. I'm not gonna say myself unless I get really stuck. I don't consider myself a celebrity. We got. Oh, there's so many more. Oh yeah, we got Mark Cunningham. Thanks for the hint. That's 4.
We got Mr. Pipe.
Oh yeah, Jerry went to Punahou? No way. Okay, that's 5.
Okay, that's fine.
Sweet. Okay, my name's Cole Christensen. I went to Punahou too.
Packed now, I can tell you that. Oh, you mean Carissa and Coco and Malia? Oh, thank you. All right. This is the second one. Kyle, you're the man.
Who won the Wellington Beach contest?
The band? The duct tape or?
Yeah, the duct tape.
Honolulu Bloomfield?
Okay, who won the QS portion for the course?
Seniors, Courtney Conlon. Thank you. This is so cool.
Okay, hold it up. Tell me who you are.
Khalees Cleopa. I'm Khalees Cleopa. Haley Otto.
And what did you just win?
Brooks.
Hawaii's own surf coin.
Wow.
Okay, smile for the camera. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
I probably haven't achieved my goal of being in Matt Warshaw's book yet, but I sure have met a lot of great people in the surfing community, and I sure have been having a good time. Aloha, Kyle, the Surf Trivia Guy, surftriviaguy.com. And if you see me with my bag of coins, ask me to challenge you with a surf trivia question. You might win a coin too.